a lot on our work tools. You know, the power cords and stuff like that. They just eventually wear out. Shoving a jumper in first. Well, it's either going to break in or it's just not a good breadboard and it's just not going to work. So speaking of cables and things like that, yeah, that's one thing I'm considering doing. You can kind of see how stiff this cable is. Well, here's the cable for the Kurokesu modded C920, and I specifically chose these cables because they were thinner and more flexible. And I'm thinking about, well, I was looking through my cables just to see if there was one I could cut the end off because, well, this is all color coded. Seems to me like, you know, I could pop the little contacts out of here, and if they're not soldered, I could, you know, make up my own new cable. Just show you what it looks like plugged in. Yeah, and I could sheath it a little bit better, you know, so it doesn't look so ugly and bare. You went from a breadboard that launched buttons at me to this. I don't know what is worse. So you need one. You need the mama bear. Gotcha. So your stuff is bending before it shoves in there. Hmm. I wonder if, oh man, that would be tough. Dielectric grease is what I was just thinking. Some sort of lubrication that wouldn't uh, affect the contact. Would that help? A little lube will do you, you know. I was actually thinking about that for this. Compared to this one, this arm right here, I mean, they're identical. They were different suppliers, but if you look at them, I mean, they have all the same markings. They came out of the same factory. Same knob design, same everything. And one was actually $10 cheaper than the other. But the cheaper one, it just feels a lot stiffer. And so I was thinking that it could actually use some lube. Now I don't want to over lube it and have it not get into a bind. But I was thinking I have some bicycle dry lube. So I'm just going to see. Fortunately, this does have a micro applicator, so I'm not making a mess, getting stuff all over it. And it should just take a really small amount. Let's take this cable off of here. Get that lube, move it around a little bit. Still just a little bit stiff when you try to move it in this direction. Yeah, it's not too bad. Let's get some down here too. And might as well lube the other ones while we're at it. Just a drop. Now, it really shouldn't affect it locking into place again. Just want to make sure that's kind of coated everywhere. Well, now it's all wiggly woggly. But then, tighten it up. That works well. Gotcha. Just a low quality, the cheapest one they could source. Well, and that happens, you know. Another vendor says, hey, we can sell you this thing. It's just like the other one. And just cheaper. The whole Arduino community has had an interesting history to it. Huh. So is there drama? I'll bet there is drama. That helped quite a bit. I probably ought to lube this one over here too, but it doesn't move as often. Plenty of fakes, plenty of IP variations, splitting of the organization, etc., etc. Sounds a little bit like a story I read a number of years ago about capacitors. And maybe some of you know about this, but I think it was in the early 2000s. There was a supplier of capacitors that were considered the best capacitors out there. And the thing is, it was a closely guarded industrial secret. You know, believe it or not, there's a lot of industrial espionage that goes on. You know, if you have a superior product, people want to know why. And I can tell you some personal stories about that. But anyway, this capacitor manufacturer was kind of supplying most of the market, and of course, you know, there's lots of competitors out there that wanted to compete, and they wanted to get their formula so that they could make capacitors as well as this manufacturer did. Well, the thing is, they had all this information on their computer systems. But he changed one thing. The guy who ran the company, he had changed one thing about the formula. And only he knew that this thing that had been changed. Well, sure enough, they got hacked, and all of these competitors started producing capacitors with this flawed formula, thinking that it was the real formula. And the market got flooded with bad capacitors that didn't work as well as these other ones did. And so these were going on to like motherboards and all sorts of other electronics, and they just go bad and start leaking. And so there was a lot of recalls and stuff like that in that era of consumer electronics. And it was all because of industrial espionage gone bad. Is this for your Pornhub videos? No, I have a different setup for that. There's a big heart-shaped bed with a fuzzy cover, and we have, you know, high-quality DSLRs. You know, and for that, I developed the cock ring cam. How are you doing, Murder? No, this is for here in the studio. This is for here in the studio, just to kind of show what my hands are doing. And I know there's a lot of other kind of bullshit attached to it, but uh, well, the thing about the cock ring cam is you got to get the image stabilization down. You know, if without that, it's just a mess. Also, waterproofness is critical there. You don't have to actually have it waterproof, but at least water resistant. Oh no, no, Murder's a friend. He's just giving me a hard time, and it's a funny one at least. See, that's the thing. You know, we allow trolling in this channel. You just got to be you got to be good at it. The other purpose for this, and actually I'm finding more as I go along, Murder. No, we're all good, man. We're all good. Murder's actually, he was a big time streamer a while back, had a great following, and now he's doing more kind of adventure stuff where he's traveling and documenting it and doing vlogs and stuff like that. So, yeah, definitely check him out. I know he's not streaming on Twitch right now, but if you go to his Twitch page, I think he might have links and stuff there for his other ventures right now. You know, you can follow his Instagram and check out what he's doing. But no, I'm finding more uses for this. Like when I did the test stream the other day, it was like, well, I'm having a hard time. I'm so close to what I'm working on, and I don't really have the camera that I want to be using on here, that I ended up taking the whole harness off and then setting it up where it was just aimed at me while I was working on my main computer. And so it's kind of like a little self-contained mobile video studio. You know, I've got OBS running on a little computer up here. You can make, you know, setup changes and stuff with your keyboard. And can you put the camera on your shoulder? You absolutely can. Everything, well, you can see like all these mounting points here, 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 and then all around the back too. You can put your cameras, or anything else for that matter, anywhere you want to. So if I brought this whole setup with me and then I wanted to do something else with it, is this not a waist rig? No, it's actually a shoulder rig. Let me show you. I'm going to unplug this cable. And we'll switch to, I can't see my cursor. Darn it. So we'll switch to that view. And you can see this is the whole setup. Battery pack. This is the computer. And you can just drop it over your shoulders like this. Now I can adjust the display wherever I can see it the best. This camera right here will be also kind of fully adjustable through a whole range. You can get it really out in front of you. You can get it just about up and below your eyes, so it's a true POV. And then this one right here is brand new. I just made the casing for it. This one is going to be my face cam. So it's kind of an extreme fisheye lens, but I'll be able to have my reaction and stuff on there. The shape of it will make it obvious. From the top, it's hard to tell. Yeah, yeah, it is. Using a nuke? No, I'm actually using something called the Chewy Lark Box. It's actually the Chewy Lark Box Pro, which is like 0.2 gigahertz faster than the Chewy Lark Box. For whatever reason, it was the one I could get. But no, that's the little computer on the back right there that is 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. It makes a nuke think its ass looks fat. And yeah, I mean, I really uh, am doing this to show my bike work better. You know, now you can see I still have my hands free. I can work on a bike. I can adjust the camera so that you can see what I'm seeing. You know, and when I describe something, I can go, yeah, look at this. You know, get you that nice zoomed in shot. And you know what? In a lot of ways, it still is basic AF. And yeah, there probably is a dead camera. And you know, the thing is, I'm not really interested in marketing it. You know, maybe if I developed a little bit more. Yep. Like I said, I think I'm having some cable issues. Like there's too much length of cable. So right before the stream, I actually threw some more cables on there to shorten them, to you know, go from like a 33-foot cable to a 12-foot, because there's some huge coils of cable up here, and I have a feeling that I'm getting a lot of loss because I'm just using the cables that I had rather than getting the appropriate cable length for the span to the camera. So you follow this one person who used to hitchhike and constantly had to hold his camera. This would be a great solution for him. Well, uh, you know, if I did a little bit more development on it, I could see using this for like doing an interview. You know, the microphone is wired and it's right here, and I placed it there because um, it works pretty well right there. But if I just had an audio extension cable, you know, you could run it over and clip it to yourself. You could run a regular handheld mic that you could interview somebody with. You know, and it's a computer that's fully capable of streaming all by itself. Now, I am planning on a bunch of little refinements, but like I said, the flexibility was something that kind of came about. It's like, okay, I got to start mounting this stuff, but what if it's not in the right place? And that's already happened a couple of times, where I had this display mounted over here, and it was like interfering with the camera that I was using for testing. And so I was able to just unscrew it from the yoke and screw it into another spot because they're all quarter 20 mounts. When I decided, well, maybe I should add another camera, I bought another arm, which is a standard quarter 20 mount, and then I actually made a casing for this camera with a quarter 20 mount. Now, if it doesn't work out there, then I can move it over here, or I can mount it to a shorter mount, or any kind of configuration that you want. So you know, compatibility and standardization is a nice thing a lot of the time. But one of the things that I'm going to do is I have some mounts right here, kind of at the corners, and then the same in the back. And your stream is, well, thank you. That's a very nice compliment, Edge. Well, and the thing is, Cool Zebra, there are better setups than this. There are way better setups than this. Higher quality, higher resolution. you can definitely spend more money on it. I'm definitely doing this in a budget sort of way. And it's not just because I'm magnanimous like that and I want to make something that is accessible to people. I had to do it all within my budget because I'm doing this whole thing out of pocket. You know, so I made what I needed to make. I know not everybody can make a casing for a camera like this, but I'm sure if I worked with somebody else, they could figure out a 3D printed solution that people could. Um, if I had design files, but you know, I did this all out of my head. Kempesty, how are you doing, man? How's Poland right now? So I'm definitely going to, when I get done, maybe kind of write an article about it all. You know, like here's the parts I used, here's what I made, here's what I learned, here's where I screwed up and made assumptions. But yeah, you could do something like this yourself. Yeah, I'd like to write a build guide, but I want to get it to the point where I can actually use it. Uh, just recently, I mean, it started getting warm enough. It's like 55 degrees during the day now. And one of the things that I was thinking about doing today is getting one of my bikes ready to ride. You know, let's do the spring check over and tune up. And I don't know if I'll do that today because we're kind of getting into this thing. But I want to take it out for a ride. And that's one of the things that I planned when I designed the harness shape and everything is I can attach a couple of like buckles right here and have a strap going underneath my arm, and that would just, you know, keep this thing from flying off if I'm riding my bike. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I mean, it works, but I don't know. We'll see. Thing is, I don't know of a better place to have it. You know, maybe I could even bolt a plate on here that that would mount to. That might be okay up there. So for using it here in the studio, what I wanted to do was have a way to control it without actually having to look down at this little 5-inch screen. You can kind of see that, you know, it's a very small screen, and I have to control it with this. So it's kind of tough, you know. It's not an optimal setup where, you know, your keyboard is here, your mouse is here, and your screen is right in front of you there. It's kind of weird to be operating your mouse cursor and typing and stuff while you're looking at the screen. So